Hello, welcome to Moxie Journal. My name is Calix, or I go by Moxie, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm excited to do VR to Laurie over at Craggy Brook Witchery, who put out a series of prompts that we can use to kind of like play a game to kind of get ready for the upcoming time. Anyway, it's very fun. It's sort of based on gaming, and I thought I'd try it. I've never done anything like this before. I mean, I've done VRs, so that's not the new part. The new part is kind of pulling cards and reading them for myself on camera. I haven't done that, so I'm going to try it. We're going to see. It's a very clever hashtag, I think. Hashtag Tarot Guide and Seek. And I'll read you what she says about it. She says to think of it as a game and all the visuals and tools you can bring to activate the energy as you visually travel your road ahead for the seekers who like to plan ahead for their journey. And that is definitely me. Yes, sometimes it's me. Sometimes I like to just see where the magic takes me, but right now I'm definitely in planning mode because I am in fact planning a trip, and that's going to kind of come into play because the energy I'd like to activate is to help me get ready. I have 2 weeks from tomorrow before I leave for just a bucket list trip that I've been manifesting since I was a grade schooler. I'm going to Egypt. I'm going to go spend a week on the beach to kind of get there and adjust. I'm actually not a very good traveler. Time zones really mess me up. And I sleep a lot, which is kind of a waste of time when you get over there. But anyway, I'm going to go do that on a beautiful beach at a place called Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt. And then I'm going to meet some friends and an art teacher in Cairo. And we're going to go to the New Cairo Museum. And we're going to get on a boat and go down the Nile and see places. We're going to go to Luxor. And we're going to end up at Aswan. And then we're going to fly back. And the whole time we're on the boat going down the Nile, our teacher is going to be giving us art lessons. We're going to be making art together. Anyway, it's just, it is a dream come true. And I'm a little overwhelmed trying to get ready for it. Oh, and if you hear my puppy snorting and snorfling in the corner, he is playing bitey face with his brother. My puppies are, they hate it if they get left outside the room when I'm filming, but sometimes they aren't very good office mates. So if you hear that in the background, maybe I should have just not said anything. Maybe my microphone wouldn't pick it up. Anyway, let's get back to the game. All right, so I've got kind of a pile of stuff right here. I'm going to move it aside and go through these step by step. And I do have the prompts written out, so I'll try and keep myself on task. Let's move this guy. These are some of the decks, a little preview of what I'm going to be working with, I think. Okay, so the first prompt says, what tarot or oracle card represents you? And so because I've been working with the Isis Oracle, I picked Magic and Ritual from the Isis Oracle. Now, I did choose this intentionally. The other cards will draw together, but I thought I would sort of start off grounding in a little bit of aspirational, but also a little bit of where I actually am. Magic and Ritual, and I'll read you from the guidebook. Let's do right here. It says, for us to grow empowered and potent on the path of ancient feminine power, we need to honor our knowing and being and cultivate sacred practice. Sacred practice becomes the habit of growing our spiritual power and consciousness. Like a garden needing regular care and watering to blossom and flourish, our inner garden of the soul, where our creativity, joy, spiritual gifts, and bliss bubble away, also needs regular attention. Coming to our practice takes strength and inner will. Even though it can feel amazing, we still have to wake up, set aside time, and discipline ourselves to show up for our own inner growth. All right, so that is what I am working on very much this whole year. In fact, my word of the year is devotion. And last year it was practice. I've said this before on my channel, but it really is just a core of how my beliefs are. I believe that practice and devotion are two sides of the same coin. Last year I was working on establishing new practices, and this year I'm working on deepening them. So the devotion part. So I think magic and ritual showing up, tending that garden, which is kind of a horrible metaphor for me, actually, because in my heart I would love to be a green witch and grow things and all of that, but I have the blackest of black thumbs. I can just kill plants faster than anything. I kill the ones that you're not even supposed to do anything to, that are supposed to take care of themselves. So metaphorically, I'm going to be really excited to be tending my garden, and in real life, we're just going to know that that I'm not going to be gardening anytime soon. All right, so that's prompt number 1. And then prompt number 2 says, what crystal will you bring for your healing energy? And I actually kind of have 2 that I picked out. I actually don't know very much about crystals, but I love amethyst. And this is a little sliver, supposedly, of amethyst. It kind of looks like, I don't know if maybe I'm dating myself, but there used to be like these like sand kind of sculpture things in lucite, and you would kind of tip them and the sand would slide. They were usually blue, but this one looks like a purple version of that to me. This is just a little slice. It was a gift to me, and I think it's really pretty, and I particularly love amethyst for its spiritual purples, my favorite color, spiritual properties, but also because it's associated with sobriety and clarity. And I am a person who is living in recovery. I'm a sober person, and that's just a nice place to help me. So this is part of my healing. And then I also just love big salt crystals. This is a big piece of salt that my partner brought me as a gift from a diving trip. So those are the 2 little crystals I'm going to take on my healing, for healing energy for this next little bit of the journey. All right, and then the next prompt, prompt 3, and I'll put all these prompts in the description as well as a link to Laurie's original video. And what am I on? 3. What herb or essential oil will aid you in the days ahead? Well, as you can imagine, since I'm so terrible with herbs, I don't actually grow any herbs. I do love them, and actually I'm drinking cinnamon tea. You can't tell that because it's just in this little tea thermos, but I have cinnamon tea. I love cinnamon. First of all, it smells and tastes delicious, and I also think magically it kind of revs me up, and I just think it's a great herb. So that is one that I will be using. And also, here's this essential oil. This is doTERRA, and this is frankincense. I love frankincense. I know it's typically associated with Christmas or Yule, one of the gifts of the wise men, but I actually use it in my spiritual practice a lot. Reminds me of when I worked in the cathedral and the censers and just kind of all over the air. It reminds me of High Holy Days, and I just think it's beautiful. So that is what I'm going to have, frankincense and cinnamon. And then question number 4, what spirit animal will you call to be at your side? So we'll put this up here. Maybe just keep this in the middle for a minute. And this is the part where we're just going to draw together. I did get a deck. This is Egyptian Sacred Animals. This is an Oracle card deck by Silvana Alasia. And they're very cool. They're kind of drawn on this papyrus. And I've been working with them, trying to learn a little bit more about Egyptian mythology. I studied it a lot when I was a kid, and I actually took archaeology classes in college at university. And anyway, so not that I remember anything from those days, but I shuffled these earlier. But what sacred animal will be with me on my energetic journey as I get ready for this trip of a lifetime, so I can be ready to be there and appreciate and learn all about this new place I've always wanted to go. Ooh, Bennu Heron. Okay, so let's look up the Bennu Heron. I don't know what that is. Number 5, Bennu Heron. All right, the Bennu Heron says, get my little book holder. Oh, sometimes it doesn't always. There we go. Okay. The elegant Bennu Heron is a very positive figure associated with the sun god Ra. The sun god is the fun god Ra, Ra, Ra. In ancient Egyptian symbolism, the sun represents life and creation. The light emanating from the heron is spiritual light. Oh, I like that. The search for elevation and connection with the divine that illuminates and prepares you to experience great positive moments. Well, how perfect is that? Magic and ritual, and now I have the Bennu Heron who's going to help me with that connection to the divine. Y'all, I am going to the place where Isis and Anubis and Set and I'm really actually quite overwhelmed with the whole process. So I am very excited. So the Bennu Heron says, its appearance heralds the end of a dark period and the dawn of a new phase in your life. Success and satisfaction await you. Oh, that's lovely. Along with achievement of important goals or the realization of your dreams. This is definitely the realization of my dreams. Its energy gives you inner strength and self-confidence, joy, happiness, and vitality. Well, Bennu Heron, thank you very much. I'm so happy for that. I look forward to working with you. All right, question or prompt 5. Separate your major arcana cards, shuffle and choose 3 at random. These indicate the theme of your journey, tests, and challenges you will face. Okay, so the deck that I picked for this, I don't know if it necessarily goes, these are the only 2 Egyptian themed decks I have. I did buy an Egyptian tarot, and I did research, but I guess I didn't do enough, and I got it, and it looked to be, I'm really sure it was an AI deck, and didn't work as a tarot because it was just numbered 1 through 78. There was no indication of suits. Anyway, it just totally did not work for me. So I'm not going to use that. But I love this little tarot of the magical forest, and I've been wanting to work with it. And so we're just going to see. It may or may not fit, but I love the little characters in it. And particularly if I have to separate out, in just a minute, you'll see we separate out the court cards. And I have an issue with a lot of court cards in a lot of my decks. They're very people-y, and that's a challenge for me sometimes, working with people-y court energy. So we're going to do it with this great little forest deck here. Let's see, I have to get out the major arcana first. And I already separated them and shuffled them a little bit. Okay, and then here are the aces. We're going to use those in a minute. And here are the court cards, so we'll use this in a minute. But right now, I could get these off camera. Right now, these are the, oh, it's hard to shuffle just the majors. Okay, so it says 3, and this is my theme of my journey. So let's just do that. Here's our theme, and I don't read with reversals, so here's the theme of our journey. Oh, the lovers, partnership, choice. That's lovely. Okay, and then theme, tests, or challenges. So tests and challenges are the other 2. Ooh. Well, that's certainly the tower. That's a test or challenge. And then, let's see. Oh. Well, huh. That'll teach me to read on camera now, won't it? Okay, so I love that my theme is going to be partnership and choice, but that my tests are going to be the tower and death. But I do read these in a way of that tower, of that pulling down of all those ego constructs that I've had, these ideas, this foundation. Maybe all the things I've ever expected about Egypt will just be wrong, and I want to break those down so that I go into this experience with just clear expectations, just ready. And death, right? We have to die before we have a new life. So the death card is that end of one phase, the beginning of another. And wee little piggy here. I love, this is the little high priestess card in there. So I do actually love this image. And we just read in the Heron card, right, that this was going to be my spirit ally, animal ally, who was going to help with this transition, right? Just talked about going from a dark phase. So yeah, so there we go. Theme and challenges and tests. And these two cards are sort of the testiest cards in the deck, I would argue. All right, let's see how we do next. From the deck, we picked the 4 aces. So we have the 4 aces. And shuffle and choose only one. There are only 4 here. And this is to pick the element. This provides your inspiration and power to call upon. I do work with elemental energy a lot. So what is this one going to be? Oh, Ace of Chalices, water, those emotions. This is not surprising to me. I'm a total water baby. I approach everything emotionally anyway. So this is a little more comfortable than some of this. So, all right. So water it is. Although this is kind of an interesting card to think about in terms of going to a place like Egypt where the water of the Nile, right? This is the Fertile Crescent. This is like that Nile, that water that I'm going to get to see for the first time ever is in human history, is really pivotal. So for me, that's really exciting. All right, and then gather your court cards. This is number 7, prompt number 7 out of 9. Gather your court cards, shuffle, and choose one court card for meditation, guidance, and wisdom. Okay, meditation, guidance, and wisdom. Let's maybe move these guys over here and over here. And then we'll put our number 7 for meditation, guidance, and wisdom for this journey, getting ready for the journey. All right, who's it gonna be? Oh, the King of Swords. All right, interesting. So mental clarity, strength of purpose, not letting your emotions get run away with you, that alignment with beliefs for me is what the King of Swords is. I don't get the King of Swords a lot, but this is interesting. All right, so there may be some more elements. I'll do some more digging about the King of Swords. I'll do some meditation and think about how the King of Swords can help me. There is a piece for me because I have studied, and I am a cerebral person, which is kind of surprising that swords don't come up for me more often, but I navigate the world with my intuition and my feelings. I'm a very feely person. So I love the idea of the King of Swords helping me balance some of this out. And maybe I need the King of Swords as I deal with this kind of transformation. All right, and then find a deck with scenic pictures. Shuffle and find a card to indicate the terrain landscape you will be traveling through. So I did actually pick a different deck for this. This is the Goblins and Gardens Tarot deck. And if you haven't seen this deck before, it is by Jonathan William Sacha. Let me see if I can get that on camera. So there's the website if you're at all interested in it. I'll put a link in the description. This little deck is very fun. I use it sort of randomly. It is just to kind of let you see some of the cards of this in case you haven't seen it. What it combines, the goblins are these little cutouts from old D&D black and white campaigns, Dungeons and Dragons, if I was a little assuming there by thinking everybody would know what D&D was, Dungeons and Dragons. And I was a nerdy kid. I'm in my 50s and I had a first edition of Dungeons and Dragons. I've told this story on my channel before, but I didn't know any boys, so I played it with my cousins and my girlfriends, and we decided we didn't need a dungeon master. We didn't need that hierarchy. So we played it collaboratively. And then when we were teenagers and we met some boys who were so excited to meet nerdy girls who played Dungeons and Dragons, but then they were horrified that we collaborated. We didn't have one person just in charge of it all. So apparently we weren't playing it right, but we had a lot of fun. Anyway, I also have a whole herd of children and I raised them on gaming. And so we actually had a lot of these modules. They're kind of beat up. I love the idea that someone cut these out and collaged them with the gardens part. These are gardening catalogs. So again, this is a little aspirational for me because as much as I love gardening catalogs, they're useless for me. This little beholder, eye of the beholder. So anyway, so this I thought would be a great deck for this prompt, which again is to shuffle the cards and find a card to indicate the terrain landscape you will be traveling through. And these cards are really lovely to shuffle. They're a linen finish. They riffle. They have this gilding on the side, but it's very, and they just, I can't fan them, but they fan beautifully. So anyway, I like them. They're one of my favorite decks to just have in my hand. And again, because they're not too peeply, I can use them. And they are scenic in a fun, sort of nerdy way. All right, here we go. Oh, we got the Queen of Swords. Look at her, that goblin. And look at that green plant we have. So this is going to be the terrain. Ooh. There's not really a book. Hold on, I'm knocking stuff out all over the place over here. Let's see. There's just this little, kind of classic little white book. Let me see if I can see if there's anything specific about the Queen of Swords here for us. Reclaim, nest, truth, precision. Adventures burned the ferns where the harpies lived, forcing them into exile on cliff sides. Never once stopping their songs, the harpies' spirits proved as sharp as their voices. They played the part in order to survive. Now watch them thrive amongst the return of the ferns. You see the world for what it is. You cut to the heart of the matter. You're a truth-sayer and a powerful singer. Trust your wit to shine when the lights go out. Back and forth and round and up. Avoid the loops of the mind. So interesting that this is our landscape, these ferns, but also with that air energy. And then we have a queen there balancing our other guide and meditation. So those are the 8 prompts. And I would love it if in the comments you would tell me if you see something different in this reading, or if you've played this game, I would love to see what your reading is like. There is one final prompt and it's the gift. And it's just kind of a bonus. It says to use a pocket oracle for nightly contemplation. Now, I don't have a lot of pocket oracles, but I have one darling one. And this is the Coastal Curiosities by Lennox Reese. And this is the pocket edition. I don't have the full-size one, and I don't actually have the book. I guess the book, maybe you could have gotten it with the full-size one. I have the edition where the cards are different colors, which I love. And this one is perfect. It's a pocket size. So I'll shuffle it. It's easy to shuffle. And I do actually have the PDF of the guidebook, so I'll consult that in just a minute. But let's pull our oracle. Here's our gift. Oh, memory. Oh, that's a nice one. Actually, I don't know that I'm even going to look that up in the guidebook. I think that this is a really good one to meditate on. I'm going into a big experience. I'm getting ready for an experience that I want to remember and savor. I'm going to journal about it before I get there. I'm going to work on maybe dismantling some expectations and clearing the decks. But then as I get ready and as I'm there, I am definitely going to be savoring this time so that it's in my memory. Look, there's this little, I don't know, maybe that's a different kind of bug, but look at this. I love the beetles, and scarab beetles are a part of the landscape where I'm going. This is like a comb for your hair. Anyway, I will look at the guidebook maybe later, but I think this is a fascinating one, and we'll just wrap it up here and I'll meditate some more. All right, so there you go. A fun on-camera little reading for myself for the journey for the couple of weeks ahead. And I am so glad you could join me. I look forward to seeing you in another video. If you liked this, if you thought it was fun, give me a thumbs up. If you aren't already, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. And if you leave me a comment and talk to me about what you see or what you think, I would love that too. I love talking to tarot friends. All right. For the rest of the week and the rest of the day, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon.